Today I want to decode the Superyacht capsized story. The Bayesian that capsized off the coast of Sicily on Monday, August 19th.
Wednesday was a grim day of discovery with 5 bodies found by specialized divers from inside the sunken luxury yacht, the Bayesian. The desperate search began soon after the vessel sank early Monday, 50 meters deep.
I'm seeing a connection between this event and Matthew Perry because there have been several mentions of Matthew Perry's death and an inquisition into the cause of death around the same time, starting from August 15th. The day before he died, he posted a photo of himself in a jacuzzi under the moon in blue. Matthew Perry died October 28th, 2023, and on that night there was a full hunter's moon. On this night, we have a full blue supermoon, and August 19th happens to be Matthew Perry's birthday.
The bodies located Wednesday haven't been officially identified. There are reports 2 are British tech entrepreneur Mike Lynch and his 18-year-old daughter. The other 2 remain unidentified, and 1 person is still unaccounted for. The world wondering what went wrong. Just how did such a large vessel moored during a fierce pre-dawn storm capsize?
If the boat wasn't completely watertight at the deck, you'd have flooding going in, and it wouldn't take long for the boat to lose its stability.
Stability seems to be emphasized in this story, and it relates to a person's or character. Firmness of resolve, mental equilibrium, because people will lose their minds, steadfastness, the ability to remain in some condition or position in spite of influences. So as a result of meditation, rising into Christ consciousness, understanding the true nature of this reality, you will be able to remain in your same condition or state despite what's happening in the external. State of being difficult to overthrow, power of remaining upright. So in the moment, we have a lot of upheaval, a lot of emotions flying around, especially in the UK. And when you are in a state of stability due to meditation, you are not moved. Nothing will move you because you know who you are.
Italian officials believe the storm may have generated a tornado on the water. Witnesses say the ship went under in minutes.
It's stirring up a lot of media attention, primarily because of who was on board. I don't know who Mike Lynch is, never heard of him. The reason I wanted to decode this particular story is because of the water spout. Because the water spout is what ties it to Southport and to the plane crash in Brazil. And the story of the ship sinking also connects with 1899, going down the water spout and coming up in a new world, or in like a holding area, a holding place where other ships from previous simulations in that show are held. So in my plane crash video, I pointed out how the plane went into a flat spin and just dropped out of the sky, and this ship also went flat and spun and sunk. Same activity, same scenario, different vessel. However, a ship and a plane are very similar because a plane is an airship and a boat is a watership. So why is this happening?
It's what I would class as like a black swan event. So we've got this high impact but low probability.
The name of the ship is the Bayesian. Bayesian means being relating to or involving statistical methods that assign probabilities or distributions to events. What are the probabilities of something like this happening, as well as what are the probabilities of something like this happening to a ship like the Bayesian, because people expected a ship of this size to be able to withstand this kind of a storm. And for it to be the ship that got caught up in this water spout is of low probability. And then there's the odd coincidence of Mike Lynch's business partner dying after the yacht sinking, but being hit by a car just days before the yacht sank. So the The fact that the name of the ship has to do with probability is also more than just a coincidence.
This Canadian naval architect says the Bayesian likely had a retractable keel much larger than this one. Down, it provides stability, but it would typically be retracted in port.
They would be able to pull that keel up into the hull, and but as they raise it, it's a weight going up in the vessel, so it reduces stability.
One of the many factors that could have contributed to the disaster, all likely haunting the 15 passengers who managed to survive.
Keel, the lowest and principal timber of a ship or a boat. To swallow, gullet. Keel means a strong, clumsy boat, barge, ship, ship's prow, flat bottom boat, keel over, capsize, tumble, fall. To keep cool, to cool, keel, Calais. So the keel is related to cool, so you keep your cool and you keep your stability. Once again, another connection to stability. So what that video doesn't show is there was an image that linked to that video, and in the background it said that it was in Port Bagnera, which means bathing place. So bathing place is the bathroom or the waters of the divine feminine. So the story is there were 22 people on board. Now 22 has come up multiple times, which can also be the V for victory, or BB, which is the butterfly. So here we are with 22 people on board and 7 did not make it. 22 divided by 7 is essentially pi. Pi is what creates the zodiac, the piano. The 88 constellations of the zodiac. They went down into the water, into the abyss.
It was anchored in a harbor near the village of Porticello, 300 meters from shore.
Okay, Porticello. Port means door or portal, and cello is a musical instrument similar to a violin but bigger. Cello is the short version of violoncello. So if we look up violoncello, this is the diminutive of a viola. So a viola is a tenor violin, stringed instrument, Roman goddess of joy, to exalt, be joyful. And viola is also the feminine proper name of Latin viola, the violet. See violet. Violet, small wild plant with purplish blue flowers. Violet, violet color, Greek ion. So the violet color is the top of the rainbow. The ship sank near the Porticello, which is the door to the violet. Porticello in itself doesn't have a specific meaning, so it's kind of linked to portico, and it's a small fishing port. So fishing port could be linked to Pisces.
The boat vanishing in just a matter of seconds, at least 15 survivors, and a mother who says she held her baby above the waves to survive this.
This is weird to me that she held the baby above the waters to survive. So baby and water, to me, it connects with don't throw the baby out with the bath water. And we're also near Bagnero. Bagnero was a bathroom, so the water is the bath water. We also had the incident in Southport was preceded by an incident in Leeds when a woman threw her baby out the window, which is also throwing the baby out with the bath water, and that led to riots in Leeds. And then there was an incident where 2 children were thrown clear from a car in a car accident, and they went out the window. They were 2 toddlers. So more kids being thrown out the window.
Here's James Longman.
Tonight, the moment a luxury yacht sinks off the coast of Sicily with 22 people on board. This new footage captures the 184-foot boat trapped in a sudden fierce storm. You can see the yacht with its lighted mast as it starts to tilt before disappearing beneath the surface within seconds. The Bayesian had one of the tallest masts in the world at 246 feet. Here it is, anchored offshore just hours before that storm lashed the coastline.
It's a strong orkan gust, very strong. They went flat on the water Yeah. And then down.
So this gentleman says they went flat on the water, then down, just like the plane. The plane went flat spin, and then down.
Flat on the water. Yeah. And then down.
This nearby boat captain spotting and saving 15 survivors in a raft. Among the survivors, Charlotte Golinsky, her husband, and one-year-old daughter Sophie, today released from the hospital. Golinsky told an Italian newspaper she held her baby above the waves until they were rescued.
David, the Coast Guard says the recovery mission is complex, and the divers say that furniture is blocking the windows to the cabins, which means they may have to break through the hull to gain access.
Okay, so furniture is blocking the windows, and they may have to break through the hull. This reminds me of the Poseidon Adventure, where the passengers had to go to the hull of the ship, where the engine was, in order to exit, go to the bottom of the boat to get to the top. They said this also happened near Palermo, and it comes from the Greek, which is panormos. Pan is all, and ormos is anchorage, bay, wide gulf, well-protected bay. So the etymology of the word bay is an inlet or opening in a wall, hole in the wall, opening, hole, inlet of the sea. So it's a hole in the wall. There's an article from The Guardian in the UK, and here they say the first flashes of lightning illuminated the sky at 3:30 a.m. So there's your 33 for your CC Christ consciousness, Cancer Capricorn connection. The article is from People magazine, and I particularly liked the headline that says, "Yacht sank in Sicily due to endless chain of errors." The endless chain of errors. And the shipmaker's owner speculates everything was predictable. I always like to look for quotes like this that stand out as unusual, with particularly interesting use of words like endless chain and chain of errors, predictable. So let's see what they actually say. A series of activities should have been done to avoid finding oneself in that situation. So what they're saying is there are a series of activities we must do in order to avoid finding ourselves in this situation of being on a sinking ship. He asserts the yacht was an unsinkable ship like the Titanic, and this is what happened to the Titans. The Titans fell to the Olympians. This means that the Titan gods that ruled for a time fell in consciousness to allow a new set of gods run by a new story in the zodiac to rule over them. And it's going to happen again. Giovanni Costantino, who is the CEO of the Italian Sea Group, the company that now owns Perini Navi, which built the Bayesian in 2008. Perini means daughter or wife, and the daughter is the one that built the ship. This ship, Earth. Navi means ships. Blames an endless chain of errors for the luxury yacht sinking on Monday. Everything was predictable. Predictable means that it was foretold or given in advance. These stories are telling us in advance what we must do, the Kundalini connection, on multiple levels. Due to human error, we have not followed this instruction, therefore we missed the Kundalini connection, or the hole in the wall, the gateway, or the portal home. I have the weather charts in front of me here. Constantino told Italian newspaper Corriere della Sera of the storm the boat was caught in. An unsinkable ship, but from the crew, an endless chain of errors, the CEO claimed to the outlet. He's repeating the phrase, endless chain of errors. This episode sounds like an unbelievable story, both technically and as a fact. How interesting. Everything that has been done reveals a very long sum of errors. The people should not have been in the cabins. The boat should not have been at anchor. And then why didn't the crew know about the incoming disturbance? The passengers reported an absurd thing, namely that the storm came unexpectedly, suddenly, which is not true. Everything was predictable. So here they're telling us that the storm will have the appearance of coming on suddenly, like he will come like a thief in the night. But there were warnings, so you have been told. I have the weather charts in front of me. Nothing came suddenly. Ask yourself, why was no fisherman from Porticello out that night? A fisherman reads the weather conditions and a ship doesn't. A fisherman reads the weather conditions. A fisher of men is someone who follows the word of Jesus, the fisher of men. You pay attention to the weather conditions, you read the plans, you hear the directions, so you're prepared for what comes. They're telling us to get our house in order. The disturbance was fully readable in all the weather charts. One could not know. So they repeat endless chain of errors multiple times. So what they mean by error is a deviation from truth made through ignorance or inadvertence, a mistake, an offense against morality or justice, transgression, wrongdoing, or sin, a state of believing or practicing what is false or heretical, a false opinion, belief, or heresy. So this entire story is telling us that this is what is to come, and this is your fate if you do not do as I say. Jesus, why do you call me Lord and not do as I say? Why is it that I tell you the truth and you do not believe me? So all of these stories are telling you the same thing. The way to exit the system is the Kundalini connection on multiple levels. You must follow that path. And if you don't, this is what's going to happen. And now there's suspicion of murder, that these people were killed, and which is, wow, shocking. I think this is going to get dragged out, and it'll be interesting to see what else comes of it. I'm going to end on this. It's from Matthew 8:23 to 27. And when he entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he saith to them, Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? What I see in this is that Jesus was asleep on the ship, and he is able to ride the storm in peace because he meditates, because he knows who he is. He knows he is God. And if you do the same, why are you fearful? You of little faith, you should be able to do what he does. You have command over your experience, and this will not happen to you if you do what Jesus says.